A dream wrapped a spin fire. The NFT analyzer. Diving deep into projects. He's the crypto energizer. From your mint coins to tokens. He's got all the intel. Web3 wizardry to show you where to excel. He's got the insights like a digital magician, unveiling secrets of the blockchain with precision. Wild stories from the web.
All right, guys. Good morning. Oh wait, not morning. We just did this. It's not morning for everybody here. Mega GMs, guys. Welcome to the Swarm Report. Man, we got a really cool one lined up here for you here today. Another team of great builders out there. It's a new meta actually in virtuals right now. It's not just agents that do maybe a little something here and there. We got teams of builders actually coming through virtuals now, and I love to see it. I hope you do too. Today we're joined by the team at DeepBrew. This one hit me like a ton of bricks this weekend too. Like why it's going to be so awesome. I'll share that story in a minute, but DeepBrew crew, welcome to the show. We got Johnny and somebody on the DeepBrew account here. Welcome.
Hey, what's up, man? Nice to see you.
Yeah, nice to see you too, Johnny. Who's over on the DeepBrew account?
Just calling Emma, but Johnny will do the talking today.
Okay. You just hang. You just hang and vibe with us. That's perfect.
Yeah.
The game is to see if we can get her to talk, actually. Huh?
Oh, that'd be awesome. Oh, and look, this was a cool surprise for me that we might have a co-host for today. And it turns out we do. Hang on, let me fire off a tweet. I'm sorry, I'm a little I got too many tabs. I need to tweet out the show. Okay, show tweeted. All right, I heard we were gonna have a special guest to co-host on today's show, and we've only done that once before. We have Jared Dillinger come on the show from time to time, and that's cool as heck. But we got a new co-host today, somebody I like a lot. Adam from Song Jam is joining us here. Let me add him to the stage. But dude, welcome. Nice to meet you face to face here.
Hey, how are you doing, man?
What's good?
Yeah, great. Actually, I didn't realize we were going to be on a live stream. I thought it was going to be a space.
Yeah.
But here I am. I've turned on the camera.
Oh, that's beautiful, dude. Yeah, we'll keep you on your toes here. Actually, we do need to do more spaces. We started doing spaces a couple of weeks back just on Fridays, and I like it. I like just getting to vibe with people like the community more too. So we got to mix up spaces plus the video streams. But I'm glad you made it for this here, man. It's awesome to see you. Let's get into
great to see you too.
Let's get into the project and the launch. DeepBrew's coming up in under 3 days now, 2.5 days here. Really, dude, interesting project. I wonder if you could give. Well, actually, shit. Why don't you do a quick intro and let me get Adam back? Sorry, guys. Yeah, let's do quick intros, Johnny. If you want to tell us who you are and what you're doing.
Hey, I've been in the kind of like the tech and entertainment industry for quite some time. I don't know, man, almost 25 years. And like I mentioned to you, I'm actually out from Chicago, but I've been based in Japan for like over 10 years, maybe longer. Can't really keep track at this point. But yeah, here in Japan, it's actually been a very interesting, different view on how the world of Japan's taking on AI. It's kind of funny stat out here, which is lots of people, top population. Tokyo being one of the most densest city population out there. But in the end, Japan's also weird because it has the lowest AI adoption per capita for people too. So if you look at for instance all the top top kind of countries out there, and you put United States, Germany, whatever it is, Japan's really at the bottom.
Huh.
They're very careful about how they adopt technology, even though if you look at all the anime and all the sci-fi stuff, it seems Japan's this cyberpunk culture, right? And so it's kind of really interesting to see what we're seeing here kind of on the ground here in Tokyo.
Dude, I thought you'd be way ahead of the curve out there. Just assume that. So interesting to hear.
Yeah, Japan's got all sorts of really funny things, right? I always the joke is, and it's not a joke, is that we still use fax machines in Japan. It's it's a real thing. It's seriously, you want to order sometimes you can order stuff, you could fax the restaurant or whatever it is. It's a hilarious stuff that happens.
I kind of like it. Keep it analog a bit, that's cool.
Yeah. They hold on to those old bits, right? And that's kind of really nice about what.
That's
what
cool.
happens
That's actually kind of charming. I like it. Very cool. Adam, do you want to do a quick intro? And dude, you got to come back here separate too. We got to talk about what you're cooking as well sometime.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, this is Adam. So I'm the
He's in another clip.
We'll see if he comes back. But that was a good intro. I'll give him a second here.
Yeah. I am Adam from Song. Yeah. Oh, do you know where's he at? Like he seems like he's got Asia vibes behind him.
Yeah, dude, I don't even know. I'm not sure. Well, we'll find out, I hope, today. Well, then, in the meantime, let's get into to what you're building and the whys and the how you got here and all that. So, DeepBrew, what is it?
Yeah, I mean, like from a virtual and maybe from like a kind of a Web3 space, like it may be seemingly a little bit boring, but what we're doing here in Japan is actually trying to solve kind of like the population problem, the tourism problem, and actually deploying AI agents physically here in different types of retail spaces, right? Everything from convenience stores to, coffee shops. And the coffee shop part is, at least from the core narrative, something that we want to build something much bigger from a brand, just because we also think about what is interesting that we can export from Japan, right? So yeah, at the cover, at the surface of it, we're actually going to deploy these AI agents and physical kiosks in a variety of ways to coffee shops and both big, small, commercialized and boutique to help them solve basically the checkout process. And one of the things that we've been trying to highlight here is that Japan, especially Tokyo, is meant to be this 24/7 city, and so as a 24/7 city, people got to be manning or man or women like these stores. But there's like a population graph, especially for the people that can basically be employed at these things, and it's like basically cratering. Where this concept here, like for convenience stores and all sorts of other stuff, like the number of people that can actually staff with this stuff is now falling below 100%. And so even around me, I'm like in central Tokyo here, there are chains that are actually closing after last train, that we say here, because they can't actually staff it. It's like kind of crazy. And so that's it at a surface. We're doing all this stuff to use AI agents to not replace people, because we're running out of people over here, and then help them do kind of like the jobs that a lot of people don't want to do either. Kind of a fun, you talk about what a user story is as far as a kind of a boutique barista. A lot of these baristas, they're like artists, right? And they don't want to talk to customers, like, unless you like really know your shit, right? And so they'd rather have somebody else talk them through what a taste profile is, why this bean is, why you're doing pour over versus a row versus like basically an espresso pull, that kind of stuff. And so we basically kind of fix all of that stuff. And then on top of that, we add all the kind of like awesome things about AI agents, where it actually allows them to understand kind of like the people coming in, speak multiple languages. That's a very important thing here. And then the key thing for us is basically help these places earn a lot more cash. People coming in don't know how to use stuff, don't know how to talk to people. They're speaking English, Chinese, French, whatever it is. Our characters can handle all that stuff, and that's what it is at the surface. Our bigger thing is what we're calling the coffee pension, and that's a bigger conversation. So I'll go into that next later. But I just wanted to lay that down first as kind of like some groundwork here.
Oh, it's awesome sounding. By the way, welcome back, Adam. Good to see you, man. You're back. You're
Yes,
good. You're
thanks.
good.
I rugged. I thought that was a Twitter Space exclusive feature, but it turns out it happens on
Universal perk.
Yeah.
That's funny. I want to get back to you and let you complete your intro here, but I did want to mention, Johnny, like, it's super interesting that you mentioned like I mean, it's such a huge story. I know, like, Elon Musk really pushes it, the birth rate thing, and we talk a lot on this show about how AI is going to like change the world and it's going to replace jobs, and people are scared of that and maybe not scared enough. But then I've heard we had Hunter Arell on the show, and he's like, I don't think it's going to replace jobs. It's just going to change where the jobs are. But none of us have really thought about connecting that dot of like birth rates plummeting and that there's not going to be people even for the jobs that exist. And that's where AI can kind of come in and fill some gaps. So that's a whole other thing I need to start thinking more about, but interesting to hear you say that. So we may lean into that more later. Adam, do you want to finish your intro?
Sure. Yeah, I can quickly. I don't know where we got to, but I don't want to steal the show with the brew. Sorry, the brew.
Steal away.
No. But just quickly. So yes, we're doing voice sovereignty in the age of AI. So enabling people to own their voice with cryptographic rails, which is actually has been a problem with all of this this voice cloning coming through, and we do that through an X space native CRM, as well as we've actually introduced an InfoFi product now, which is basically Sybil resistant leaderboards. So this has been rolling out and quite well received in the virtuals ecosystem. So just preparing to get an integration going with ACP as well. And I think we can basically kind of initially open up some of our InfoFi offering into the ACP sandbox, essentially. So big lover of Japan. I actually lived in Japan. I lived.
Oh no!
Again, no way, no way.
Dude, he's definitely not on Japanese internet. We got good internet over here.
Yeah, I wonder where then. Jeez. All right.
Gotta bring him back. Gotta bring him back.
We'll keep keeping on in the meantime. Okay, so I'd like.
It stuff does sound interesting though. I want to tug on it more when he comes back.
I know, right? Yeah, no,
he's back.
He's back.
Oh, he's back.
And
oh no, I can't. You add him like you're like
I'm
dipping in and out. But we heard that you like spent some time in Nagoya.
Man.
Something.
Yes, and so big lover of Japan and a big lover of coffee as well. So probably one of my most prized possessions is actually my espresso machine. So, and I'm enjoying some of the good brew right now.
Yum, dude.
Very
speaking
nice.
of which, what's your guys' favorite cup? Like, what's your favorite kind of coffee?
Man, I've been doing a lot of pour over at home right now. But for me, like from a functional standpoint, I just like a good like strong, straight double espresso shot.
Dude, yes.
Sometimes I do like if I get access to it, because like it's not that popular in Japan, but kind of like more of the Gibraltar type of like lattes, really tight shot, kind of with just a little bit of hot milk. That's actually the second version if I could get it.
Oh, that sounds awesome. I'm like, for a while I got obsessed with like Greek coffee. If you've had or haven't had, it's like like really, it's almost like an espresso, right? Like really, really small cup, and like the grinds are there at the bottom, and it's just so strong and so good. Yeah, that's
yes, yeah, like also like a Turkish coffee, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
dude. Yes, exactly. Adam, you got one?
So, well, I'm definitely espresso over ice, right? That's me all over through the summer months at least, and Italian grind and all the way, and it's definitely. But espresso, no milk. I cannot do. I can't go there. Like, not for health reasons. I just love coffee. I love black coffee. I love the flavor.
Strong take. I love that. Okay, so then DeepBrew, what is that going to look like in a store, in a shop? Like, let's start with a customer. How is a customer going to interact with DeepBrew? What's that experience going to look like?
Yeah, I think the major value prop is very straightforward. Like you walk in, if you're a Japanese person, you talk to it or you touch the screen, and you order and ask it whatever kind of questions you want, right? And that's people can choose whether they want to have an avatar character up there or not. Like this is one of ours, but he's more kind of like on purpose kind of dork, kind of like cliche looking. The kind of like branded ones for Japanese customers are much more vanilla actually. Lacking personality is more what they want. And what's more important is that the AI is very, very savvy about the different aspects of what the coffees are or whatever is offered at the store, and they can walk you through its taste profiles, and you can even kind of request all sorts of other things, right? But the simple part is that then it will help you through checkout. We're integrated into kind of like the mainstream POSs, point of sales and payment services out here in Japan, and then we've also integrated basically QR code based digital wallet checkout too. Right, and so there's a lot of different ways that you can go buy stuff, but one of our things is actually with DeepBrew, but we have basically a Japanese version name for it, which is more for like the consumer, and that's the general the process. There's a bunch of other neat things about it where we do kind of an on-phone activation through kind of an HTML5 kind of web app. We can do like Japan is very, very famous for or infamous for their point programs. Like every freaking restaurant thing has a point card, and it's literally a piece of paper. And then our stuff will basically unify all that type of stuff, and then do proper like user activation, user re-engagement, and notification on device, and eventually basically bring them into applications. So that's just like the normal piece of it. Our bigger piece is actually what we call the coffee pension. The coffee pension's funny because we all spend a shit ton of money on coffee. I believe it on this call anyway. And Japanese people, they work a lot and they believe in all sorts of energy activations to allow them to work even harder, for better or for worse through the health. But they do spend a lot of money on average, like anywhere from like $800 to $5,000 a year, just like for your normal person. And not that doesn't count people like me who really kind of likes their like kind of the more specialized beans. And kind of like money that the deep dark money hole that you could get into with like buying nice equipment and all that, right? Anyway, coffee pension is a weird thing that is if you're a Japanese person or an Asian, you'd understand very deeply, which is you are putting your money that you're spending anyway into a savings account of sorts. But in our case, it basically is to stake our token. And for them, for your average Japanese drinker, they can then draw down from it every day they go buy a coffee, and you know, $1, $2, $5, whatever the heck you're spending it on, and you are guaranteed to be able to get your money's worth of coffee back. And so you're slowly drawing it down, but we're saying, hey, you're putting it in your silly like actual savings account, and you all this other stuff. You might as well put it into something that's much more potentially exponential in growth, right? In this case, DeepBrew or our coffee pension, and then we're going to do a bunch of other stuff on top of that. All right, so that's something that Japanese normal people can do. They don't have to be Web3 holders at all. We give them standard on ramps because all they're doing is buying coffee. But then we can do very interesting DeFi financial things with it, as well as kind of bigger brand building stuff that we actually want to go much further into, right? Because yeah, the coffee actually there's a whole other element to, you know, for us there's like a three-part project, right? Our final piece is actually we want to build and export kind of big pieces of Japanese brand and Japanese coffee brand, as well as kind of like a bigger DeFi background input with the financial aspects of this. So lots of detail to go into still with that, but I wanted to say that part as the next piece.
Dude, do I have the right thing on screen here? So if we're talking about like the where people can kind of, you know, stake their money and, you know, kind of pay for their coffee with this, you've gamified it, right? Is that what I'm looking at here?
Yeah,
Even
so
see,
this
like
is
loot boxes.
yeah. I mean, the website is meant to be particularly like light in the details because the actual version that we're building for regular Japanese people is like they don't care about a virtual.io meet like a coin, but they're just like, oh, okay. Instead of putting in my savings account, like, you know, Japan, they're really into life insurance, right? They spend a lot of money into life insurance. Like even though you're like 20 years old, people put their money into life insurance. You're like, yo, why do you need to? But like it's a thing. And we're just leaning onto like the cultural norms of this and just giving them the equivalent of instead of that, we're giving them a savings account for coffee. And so with that, like the on the ground version is yes, they put their money into it, and it's to them it's a savings account. But behind the scenes, it's all going to deep, and putting it into the core pool, and we will be able to do just a lot more with it because yeah, I mean it's basically a liquid asset that we can actually and do a lot of interesting pieces, a lot of interesting things with it.
So wow, you have almost like two different customers, I think, if I understand right. But first,
Yeah.
I'll kind of rewind first. So the experience for me, if I go into a shop that's using DeepBrew, so it's not just like I'm doing a self checkout on my own, scanning my items and paying. And like here in the States, right, we always have a prompt that pops up for me to, you know, give a tip. And at first I was picturing that it's going to be, you know, an agent on the screen that's going to suggest maybe other things for me to, you know, add on to my order or buy. But it's more like it maybe guides you through the menu even and is taking you through the whole process start to finish.
Yeah, we're replacing the front store checkout person. Like you're talking to an AI instead.
Oh, that's wild. I was telling Johnny just before we went live too, like it really hit me this weekend, right? So I already knew about DeepBrew just because I, you know, like probably everybody here, we're reading the, you know, the Virtuals website and we're diving into the projects and learning about them. And I read it. I'm like, that's interesting. That's cool. You know, it's like a real product. Like this makes sense. But I went out to a store and as I'm getting up to the checkout, right, it's self-serve and then like the line of, you know, that aisle as you're getting into the self-serve checkout, it's, you know, gum and candy and chips and all that stuff. And it gets me every time, right? The upsell aspect, it gets me every time. I always buy something extra. And then when I'm starting to check out, there's the lady who's like overseeing the self-checkout and she sees that I'm buying candy and she goes, hey, dude, just so you know, I just saw this candy we have here and it's like this honeycomb crisp covered in chocolate thing and it's delicious. You should try it. And of course I got one. I bought it. It worked. Like the upsell there totally worked, even if that isn't what she meant to do. Like she probably thought she was just helping. But it worked. And like right there, that moment, you know, I'm out with my family and, you know, my kids and I'm thinking about DeepBrew. Like right at that moment, I'm like, oh my God, DeepBrew's onto something here. If this is an agent that, as you're checking out, is going to suggest other things, and hell, maybe it even does that as you're shopping too somehow, some way. But anyway, it really clicked for me. I'm like, there's something, man, super interesting here. Welcome back again, Adam.
Yeah, and then the upsell piece is actually pretty intuitive for people. Right? Like that's the reason why TikTok's like taking like Facebook to lunch, right? It's the whole concept of like fast, quick data analytics across kind of like a large SKU set, right? Like so TikTok content is easy to understand because there's just shit tons of content. Like you like ducks versus like girls versus something else. Like what the fuck? I don't know what you want, right? And then like in Japanese stores, they just have a lot of offerings. And for us, like obviously we talk about coffee as kind of like a key kind of brand concentration, but our stuff actually is being deployed across multiple different types of retail locations. And so, when we're talking about convenience stores, if you've ever been to a Japanese convenience store, their SKU set is ridiculous. Like, like the candy chain, the candy aisle is ridiculous. Like, it's changing every day. I'm really into gummies, like not the funny kind. Japan doesn't have those, but but like there's just a lot of gummy types, and every time you go, it's a different type, different kind of like flair to it. And the AI is much better at recommending this stuff than a human would be because you can't even keep track of what's happening, right? And so that's that type of like big, strong cross sell technology is being heavily leveraged associated to it.
So if a store is going to integrate DeepBrew, do they have to go through a process of training the agent on their inventory, and do they teach it maybe what products they do want to try to upsell? Like what does that look like? And by Adam, throw elbows, like get in wherever you want to. I don't have any kind of formal way that this works, so jump in.
Well, he should be asking like whose voices we're using here. Are they being properly approved? We're definitely in the country of like you like professional voice actors more than I think any other country out there. So we can definitely shoot the shit on that stuff.
Nice.
But with the onboarding process, coffee is the easiest one because quite honestly, we use our agent to interview the barista. The agent just sits down, like tell me. It's like basically like it's like a barista therapist, and like it really just kind of walks through and asks them questions and like why they do the process versus one another, and generally ask them to describe how they would describe it in kind of like and pretty good depth. And then the agent itself can extrapolate from a very very key set of things, and you can then distill and make that a lot better. The harder one, which is actually the easier one, is that the ones with big SKUs, like for instance the convenience stores, they're entirely data warehoused already. And so I think that like and if you know anything about it, like how they even do their shelving is actually entirely data driven. They're just like, why is this one here? Why is this one over there? Who's basically drawing things, drawing different people to it. They do all these kind of like actually like data driven incentivized campaigns and games and all that kind of stuff to bring people out to. So like this is really part of this kind of deeper uh, cross-sell and incentivization world that is everywhere in retail, but Japan's like much more advanced in that because of the population density.
It's fascinating. It's just like the business world's just so foreign to me. So it's interesting to hear how they kind of operate here. What were you saying about the voices for these agents?
Also, in our case, our voices are, I mean, it's like standard AI-driven voices. Our team actually is, we have a huge background in gaming and entertainment. And so that's actually how we got into the AI stuff initially because, there's a lot of like 11 Labs type stuff out there and a lot of people doing kind of cute voices or whatever, but they all the AI agent system, voices stuff out there stink at Japanese. They're really bad at Japanese. And then more deeply, they're bad at Japanese that's like more creative, like stuff out of anime. Like the voices that they do have for anime, even the Japanese and Chinese models that they have, it's really not for anime voices, right? But our teams like got really deep on that piece of it, and so Adam, we can definitely trade notes offline later too about voice and voice fingerprinting and whatnot. But yeah, so we were pretty deep in that stuff too. Yeah, just because we're close to entertainment.
Very interesting. And what is it that brought you into the virtuals ecosystem?
Well, I mean, we are very close to just virtual characters in general, like kind of our broader business, which I won't get too deep into it, but we're really, really in, Japan's really into VTubers or virtual characters. So like we are very much in that world. And so virtuals is not a foreign ecosystem project or anything like that to us. Like we've been actually facilitating different types of projects and actually been very familiar with what's been happening on virtuals. We're very keen on virtual agents. We're also pretty amused by Grok's latest launches too, because yeah, it was like oh okay, about time. Like they're finally kind of like looking. It's just pretty funny. So yeah, that's what brought. So that's what's attracted us to virtuals.
Cool. And have you got any plans for ACP?
Well, not really publicly talking about it yet, but yeah, I mean, we're going to be pretty serious about everything for our project, because what we're doing right now is entirely, I mean, it's already an analog, not analog, but it's like a real world business that's already existing, and so it just depends on how we want to tie all that stuff together.
Do you have some loose ideas of what you would want it to look like in ACP? Like who it would be interacting? Like who's its what other agents out there would synergize well with DeepBrew? Again, if you can't get into it, cool.
No, not at all. So we have a bunch of different thoughts for it. And so the danger is where we just are more careful about how to talk about it is because, in our like real world business, like, we have access to, like, for instance, like real animation IP and the kind of like other broadband businesses to it, right? And so it's really important about how we make sure that we make that when it crosses over, that all of it basically just looks proper, right? But from an integration piece for we just did an AMA with a couple other very interesting projects, which are really kind of similar, right? As in, like, they're doing kind of like physical integrations, enabling like actual physical businesses, not all in Japan, but very much kind of a similar types of ecosystems. Where, like, and so like an example would be parallels in the regular world is driving kind of real world commerce, doing cross sell. This concept of loyalty points programs and being able to kind of like capitalize on that and bring people and kind of move them between different types of communities. Those are all things that are very, very close to the stuff that we want. That's very obvious for the stuff that we want to do. I think the ones that are harder that we don't want to talk as much about are the ones that are actually more character based type of content out there, because that's actually something we have a lot of power to push, right? Because, like, for me, like the piece about what we want to do with the DeFi and the brand building stuff is actually more about, we actually want to build a new form of a coffee brand globally, right? And that concept is actually, think that kind of like the evolution of our kind of like little coffee Pokemon that we're putting out. And the example is, like, obviously beans are not being grown here in Japan, but they are being roasted and they're being brewed in like really fantastic ways. And then what we would do, the reverse thing is that, in the same way where like Japanese whiskey is really amazing, we would be doing basically coffee brand and coffee limited edition stuff in the same way that is going to be released to the general world, right? Like, Blue Bottle's cool. Like, there's a lot of other cool stuff that's out there. Arabica coffee, like these kind of bigger brands, and kind of like what they're interesting as, for like not just kind of in the kind of like the Web 2 world. Um, we want to build deeply into that, right? So it's not. I think there's a lot of like real power in taking coffee pension, taking a lot of liquidity from people that just not even spending that money, using that then to power and build a kind of a broader, like, kind of like a business for it. And then that's also kind of what we're thinking about as, like, our drops are going to be both digital and real, because you can basically get some like dope ass coffee through what we want to do, and we want to build it up like kind of like the Hibiki or Yamazaki whiskeys, and kind of like reverse export, right? So there's that obviously all is a lot of talk for what we want to do, but from a brand building standpoint of how we see virtual agents, we also think really hard about how these agents could also be like a brand mascot that could go out there and represent you. And we can do that for kind of like a lot of the other kind of like the coffee shops that we're kind of like that we're working with, because Japan's obviously very animation and digital forward and this type of stuff, and doing something that's like actually an anime character, like a Jujutsu no Kaisen type of thing, where like, oh boom, coffee coming out, like co-branded, and also basically it's got like activations for like there's a lot of stuff that we definitely are definitely thinking really deeply about. So that's all talk until it's not. And so the easiest thing to understand from a practical standpoint is like basically like retail, loyalty, store, that kind of stuff. But that we do come from more of the animation and character world.
So one Japanese coffee brand I recall is Boss Coffee, right? Yeah, the canned coffee, and they had Tommy Lee Jones. When I was out there, they had Tommy Lee Jones as their kind of spokesperson, right? Or he was on all of the ads, looking a little bit like the Bill Murray kind of vibe, from Lost in Translation, like a little bit like, what am I doing here promoting this brand in Japan? But
that's right.
But still, yeah, I remember that well. Yeah, so really popular, right? Tinned iced coffee.
Yeah, I'm like I mean, I don't know if you guys want to like show the video. I just like I love his commercials. I'm gonna drop this link in something. I don't know if you want to share it, but like the Tommy Lee commercials here are like, as an American, if you go watch this stuff, it's nuts. Because he's basically an alien. That's his concept. He's like the reverse
Right.
Men in Black or whatever, and he's just
Mhm.
like he's shilling coffee on national television and
Yeah.
billboards and whatever. But this is a concept of like it's a big brand. I would like I don't even know which one. I just jumped randomly to like a minute 30, and like it's just wacky, wacky ass stuff.
Is
Yeah,
it
but just
still
watch.
going then? Is he still he's still doing
I don't
the
know. I don't know
promo?
if I saw one this year, but like like
Uh-huh.
it's around though. Look, just play the commercial. There's nothing controversial about it. It's just wacky. With this, so there's a big brand of coffee. This is like Coca-Cola of coffee, right? Like, but they're like you can see how many SKUs they have. They just keep on launching all sorts of other types of things. But then as a brand, it's actually it would be an insane export from Japan to the rest of the world. You're like, oh, there's a DeepBrew, and then this is us. Basically, we're going into we're basically exporting coffee and all that shit. So um, this is what we're cooking with though. We have a lot to work with, like, and that could be pretty. It's something that could bridge virtuals into like mainstream and like because it's so off the wall, right? Like if you let the commercials play out, you'll see that like it's really Tommy Lee Jones as an alien dropping into like schools and whatever. Like I think somebody's talking. If you could fast forward to like a minute and a half into the video, oh, I guess we're almost there.
Yeah, I'll get there. By the way, in the chat, sometimes when I share video, our audio, our mics get funny. Just give me a heads up in the chat if that's the case here.
Yeah, you got it muted now, so it's okay. Don't play the audio because the audio's just ridiculous. But this shit's like. Yeah, these are the commercials that Tommy Lee Jones. I mean, we got all
Oh,
sorts of other
wow.
commercial. Yo, but like this is not like memes. The stuff. This is mainstream broadcast television and shit in the middle of Shibuya and all this kind of stuff, right? Like it's yeah. So yeah, Adam, thanks for bringing that up because yeah, that is kind of where we're leaning into. Where if you don't know, you don't know, but then if you do, you're like, oh, this is amazing. And so that's what that's what we're going for.
Cool as hell. How deeply do you want to tie your the deep token into all this branding and how people purchase products here?
We're gonna be pretty smart about it. As in, we will basically change slightly what the branding is depending on whether you're in Japan or out of Japan. And then just because like Japanese people will never understand how ridiculous what you're watching is. Like they're just like, yo, but this is nuts. This is real commercials. Like it's like, yeah. So I just gotta say like, and so how we would actually do it externally, it would just be we would probably the brand it pretty similar, but yeah, it's just all about how we would lean into the branding, right? It's got to be smart. It's got to hook, right? So it doesn't have to be the same brand necessarily. And so we'll think hard about that.
Yeah, I gotta say to MJ's point, it's kind of what I was saying at the beginning. Like, man, the meta on virtuals is changing. Again, it's not just like a million DFAI agents, and it's not just these, kind of I don't know. I call them lightweight, tools. We're definitely shifting to more like real projects and from teams who have a history of being able to build, and that's what MJ's saying and he's seeing here. There's so much thought and planning put into something like this here that sets it apart from I would say most other launches on virtuals. Like we're definitely starting to see them come up. Like I think I've seen more quality agents here in the past 2 weeks than I have in maybe the 2 months before. But kudos to you guys because I see what MJ is seeing. It's definitely different.
Yeah, and this is why we've like decided to actually like come out in the open because like yeah, this is a real project. I mean, we're already doing it for real, right? So, but this is more of an exercise on actually starting to build international brand more than anything else. And so yeah, you guys can see kind of like how we're like built and motivated for it. And
Yeah.
also, this is a great video background for us just chatting because this shit is ridiculous.
Oh, dude, it's freaking awesome. I might even just run it on loop because it's awesome.
How is the crypto adoption in Japan going on these days? Like, I've got some reports about the NFT market over there, and I understand that was popping off at least at some point.
Yeah, Japan. Like if you like look at the numbers, like Japan was like the original crypto like degen, right? Like this is where Mount Gox was. Like I was actually part of
Oh,
I
wow.
was actually part of like the analysis team about the Mt. Gox hack, right? Like they're, I mean, this is all here. This is ground zero. Like that was like what 2012? Shit, what was it like? But and like I was at the Mt. Gox office while they were like gonna arrest the dude, and like there's just lines outside of people just like wanting asking for their money back, and and most of those people that were buying like crypto back then, they're like 40 and up, like like in 2012, right? And so, in that regard, Asians and Japanese people are always looking for another kind of like interesting liquidity bet. And that they definitely are progressive. And you can see how Korea's really gone deep on this stuff more in a different kind of use case than kind of the rest of the world. Japan has definitely been very much more conservative in the last 10 years because Japan's also the most digital currency forward country, right? Like they basically had taxation laws for virtual currency because all the video games, all the free to play stuff, they're pretty hardcore about that stuff for a long time, and so they had crypto laws and taxation laws in place before anybody else. And so you knew what the guardrails are. The flip side of it is that it has not, it's only gotten more lax. Doesn't constrict. Unlike how America's like, you don't know it's going to be bad or good or bad, like back for blah, blah, blah. Japan's just like really thoughtful about how they thought about regulation. And so people know what they're getting themselves into. And so to answer the question more directly, is like, yeah, the amount of money of Japan in crypto is actually pretty good. The But they're not doing transaction volume in the way that any of us really kind of care about right now, right? Because they're just like, yo, I'm gonna put my stuff in there. I'm gonna hold. There's kind of some degen stuff with like the NFTs and like some kind of like they're not, I wouldn't say KOLs, like they're versions of Elon Musk, but definitely less. They're very very different, as in especially technologists and like thought leaders. And so there's a lot of that stuff, but it doesn't cross over that much with the rest of the world actually, because a lot of that stuff is very, as they say, Galapagos. So it's very about this island, and then not a lot of
Mhm.
other people can even consume it because most of the content and the people that look at it is mostly in Japan, and Taiwan actually crosses over with the Japanese side of it a lot.
Gravity, I'm with you, dude. This commercial's just killing me right now. It's incredible.
Hey,
Um,
we should link it on the project later.
dude, yes. Yeah,
DeepBrew, if you're
yeah,
still on, we should leak this for sure because this is great.
it's
This is
incredible.
great shit.
So, what are the plans for, I guess, growing Deep Brew, making those IRL partnerships with these stores and the coffee shops and just general biz dev? What's going to be the approach to growing this? Um, and do you think some people, maybe that'd be more here in the States, like more hesitant to like adopt this because there is a crypto attached?
Oh, you think that people will be more scared because it's got crypto attached to it?
Used to be that way. I'm not so sure if it's the same anymore. Like things have changed so much here over in the States, but maybe some. I'm just curious if that's something that you consider at all.
We're not that worried about it because like we're not gonna be that like what the hell, he's a samurai shit. I mean, is the we're the well because we're talking about it in kind of other terminology, right? We're calling it the coffee pension. And as far as they're concerned, they basically just on ramp through typical fiat on ramps, right?
Mm.
And if they so want to like kind of basically take it into their own hands and can kind of do more stuff with it, they totally can, and that there will be a population of Japanese local holders that just will do it like everybody else internationally would be doing it. But the I think the thing that the kind of the picture I want to paint is that um we're going to sell like a typical point program and like an insurance policy type of thing that you would to any Japanese person. And in doing so, I think that could we convince 50,000 to 100,000 Japanese people to put a year's worth of coffee savings into our thing, where they're guaranteed to buy coffee at their like favorite coffee shop? I think that we can do that, because it's more of like a standard consumer onboarding thing than kind of any other type of Web3 thing. The second phase of it would be, oh, by the way, it has strong financial upside. Maybe you should think about doing other crazy shit with it. And then but once we actually show that we have normal adoption, it's going to get people a lot more comfortable about what that represents, right? As opposed to just going out there straight up with kind of more of a degen kind of a value proposition.
Man, really cool. Then for the virgins here, um, Deep Token, what are the benefits for them? Why do they want to get in on this Genesis launch on the pre-sale?
You're asking about the people on virtuals or actually the coffee shops?
The virtual side of it. So the like the community here. basically token perks benefits for them. Oh, I think we lost him. I thought he wasn't answering. He's
Yeah,
Oh, sorry. Am I
maybe.
muted?
There we
Am I
go.
muted?
Yep,
Am
you're
I
good now.
muted? Okay.
Good now.
Shit, that's my bad. I guess you guys didn't hear anything. All right. Yeah, I was saying kind of two different things, right? So, initially not about the token benefits itself, it's just about making money for anybody that just want whether the short or the long-term returns, right? Like our project's built in a way where kind of like the core liquidity is actually going to be a lot of just like normal people putting in money, right? Like so if you just do bad math, like 1,000 people at 100,000, that's $100 billion, right? Like, so let's go down from there, 1/10 of it, sure, $10 million or whatever. Like, but taking that and putting it that are people that were never in Web3, and they're basically taking it out of like kind of their bank accounts, putting into it. That's a from a yeah from a kind of a size of the pool thing is actually very very interesting, right? That's piece number one. Second piece is like general transaction volume. Our stuff's based off of profit generating things that we're putting out there, right? That we're solving real world problems like and as an example is I didn't get into any of the crazy actual numbers. We're just like talking about fuzzy ass shit, right? But like Japan, like in April 4.5 million tourists. In 2025 all year they estimate 45 million tourists. In Japan, there's only 130 million people. So 130 million people, like one third of the people coming in, like they're only going to Tokyo, Kyoto, Osaka. Like these poor like store people are just getting their ass crushed. They're just like all these like Chinese English speakers that are just like, I want this and that. And they're just like, shit, what do I do, right? So they actively want this type of solution to just kind of like solve all those problems. That's one piece of it. And then the value of general upsell even in just kiosks and self-registration, not self-registration. In English, it's in Japanese it's called self-regi, but self-register is super proven. Like like the general self-register, English Japanese. Anyway, the self-checkout stuff just basically easily boosts like your revenue by 30 to 35%, right? Because you just check out faster, you buy more shit, and then with our test with the coffee shop stuff is actually interesting insights that you'll see, which is a lot of Chinese tourists, and they don't think about buying coffee to take home. Actually, they're just here. I'm gonna eat some coffee, blah blah. But the upsell thing is like, hey, by the way, Chinese people love collecting stuff and get limited edition things. Is actually buying like a souvenir coffee for home, and that the upsell for Chinese tourists is actually like the percentage what we've been seeing is actually like 70%. Especially checkout increase, right? Because there's like, oh shit, okay, I'll buy this for this person, this person, this person, and so that value prop is like very very legit. Um, and so what's the upside for people like buying in for Genesis? It's just straight up returns, period, right? That's the stuff that's what we're going for. Deeper benefits is really about how people actually can lock in and actually get more access and get more kind of returns for everything that's going in there. We are also building out this whole concept of kind of like different types of airdrops and different types of airdrops that allow you access to kind of like our limited run stuff, both in NFT form, whether you buy into that stuff or not. But in our case, which is like, if you know anything about whiskey, like doing the limited run stuff where you don't even have to buy it for yourself, like the resale value of like, basically basically a kind of like a Yamazaki 50. I'm saying generic ass stuff. Like actually, there's much more like boutique, like limited run stuff. Like yeah, we're talking about real big money stuff where people would want access for it. And we're going to basically be building out all that stack for all of that too.
Man, you got a lot going on. It's dude, it's super impressive. Gravity's got a couple of questions here. Good questions, by the way. Any partnerships in the works, like major chains, brands, and I'll even add into there. You've got some things on the timeline already. DeepBrew and Super Connector, so a collab there. And then also ERM, who they're super cool. They launched what I don't know 6 weeks ago on virtuals and the escape room product. Like so, really cool. Yeah, what do you got cooking with both of those projects? And then again IRL with some chains and brands. What's cooking there?
Yeah, I think Gravity is more curious about who we're working with really on the ground, right? For like the coffee shop stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, I won't tip the hat too hard. It's important for us to be able to nail large franchises across Japan. And Japan does have a lot of like a wide range of like a medium to very very large coffee chains that are not like Starbucks, right? Like there's a lot of great stuff out here. And so we are working our way into that. Like the key thing for these type of projects is that we don't want to build and expose too much because they are obviously very sensitive to brand exposure. But suffice it to say, for instance, like you know, it's really dangerous to say which coffee. Like, we're very, very close to a lot of coffee shops in Nakameguro. I think anybody that goes to Nakameguro, even as a kind of a regular or as a tourist, will know kind of like the kind of a selection of kind of like the boutique roasters that are out there. We're also very working on kind of a broader kind of franchise coffee shop that came from Ebisu. That one you can probably figure out from that detail, and those are. And that's kind of like where we're kind of thinking about, right? Because it's somewhere in the middle. Like you go to boutique, I still want to make sure that these things have some access where tourists basically just like, oh, did you know about this coffee shop in Nakameguro? And you see it on TikTok and people like go swarm that thing. That's it solves two problems, right? Because when we go to that coffee shop owner, there's like, fuck, help me, really. I'm not even kidding. And then they also have the brand exposure so that there's actually just like transaction volume and revenue for people like us. Vending machines are really good, very, very good question. Um, the the major vending machines kind of like around Japan are uh, slightly monopolized, and so for that we need to really have the buy-ins for the people that own those. We are very close to what they do, and there's all sorts of different types of vending machines that we can do, kind of like upsell as well, like brand upsell, right? And so there's like it's not just like coffee vending machines, but like we're very close to, for example, battery rental services, blah blah, et cetera, et cetera. And so that allows us to deploy AI agents pretty easily, right? Because one of the neat things about our AI agent is, they could be 3D and they are 3D, but they're all fundamentally web-based, and so it's easy for us to spin it up on anything that can actually do kind of a web browser kind of and a web container.
Good
But gravity, it's very important for us to go. We're looking to go mainstream, and so to do proper kind of brand trust on the ground here in Japan, we are doing it pretty aggressively. But we don't want to be as they say in Japan, we don't want to just like gaijin smash here to to say it that way.
So then, so token holders benefit because like mine share up, it means token price go up. It just does. Like we get how it works. Like we just, hope that happens. Whatever. It's just how it seems to work. And then any buyback plans?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely. Like our like the biggest piece is we're gonna have a lot of money to work with actually, right? So that's like and we're gonna be pretty smart about how we tier the stuff. Um, Japan's very good at the whole gacha game and kind of like tiered kind of rewards, tiered gacha, and loyalty type of stuff. And so for us, like the early holders and the people that kind of really are contributing to kind of like the build up for what we're trying to do is the people that we're going to reward the best, right? And we will be generally pretty intelligent about that, and there's a lot of stuff that we'll be publishing soon about that.
Man, really cool. And then on the token still, I see 50% of the token supply goes to developer. I'm assuming that's team. If that's not correct, let me know. But some tokens, I'm assuming, used to help run the business. Is that correct?
Yeah, the developer token, we're not going to be able to use any of it for a while anyway. Like I think part of it's actually the more about how we're going to be very much like about the ecosystem, and the core kind of like monetization for us is not about what the developer token helps us do anyway, right? And then for us, like we're already earning money in a legitimate way, and so even during kind of the early days, like we will be deploying capital to also basically allow us to kind of like put money into the market, right? If you know what I mean.
Yes. Yeah. Actually, so are you earning revenue right now?
Yeah, I mean this shit's in the wild now. It's not. We should be dropping some public videos out there so you guys can see where it is.
Okay.
On social media before launch. And yeah, I mean, we are definitely earning revenue. It's not all in coffee, just to be transparent.
Sure.
But basically our ability to deploy AI agents in retail spaces to do cross sell, upsell is yeah, I mean it's a business that we already have. This is just like actually like going deep on a specific vertical.
Dude.
Sorry if I missed it, guys. I was rugging again for a second, but I was just wondering, Johnny, if you've got any plans to run any kind of mindshare campaign, and whether you might be making any of the supply available for yappers on the timeline or anything like that.
Oh, that's very interesting. I maybe the team has thought about it. I personally am not part of that piece, and so I wouldn't. I'll have to ask them about that. But like I mean, if you look at the content, like so all the stuff that's actually being on the X timeline or whatever, like that's a good. Our team is really all about kind of narrative building and kind of like mind share building, and so kind of the neat pieces about what we also have from a just as a team that's just pretty AI and virtual character savvy is that we are definitely looking to be able to do kind of collaborations on kind of doing the kind of like dope content, right? Because for us, like we can put out agents for other people, we can actually create animations for other people, and just kind of do cooler stuff, right? So yeah, I don't have a detailed scientific answer for that one because unfortunately I'm the guy that's designing the token and the agent stuff as opposed to the kind of the marketing side.
What milestones do you have coming up? Like, let's put it this way. Yeah, kind of basic or general roadmap, but then also like, where do you see yourself in like a year or two from here?
Our big milestones, and Adam's frozen again, so maybe you had a follow-up question, but I'm not sure. So yeah, the token milestones are obviously launch and then basically tying to kind of like the actual like coffee pension stuff that we're building out. But like the more meaningful milestone for us is actually kind of like proper announcement for rollout of coffee pension with public vendors, basically public coffee shops. I think from a from a mind share, from like a validation standpoint, once people can see, oh yeah, like literally like there's coffee shops literally saying that they're basically buying into a Web3 token which is this coffee pension thing. I think that is just validation for everybody. For us, obviously, from implementation standpoint, it's important that we can have DeepBrew out there so that we can actually have that tied to our actual AI implementations on the ground, and then kind of tie all that stuff together. So there's definitely a lot of kind of details on what that looks like because robust rollout for the stuff where these coffee shops are just like, yeah, we're cool, we're cool with kind of like this experimentation with some of the stuff, but don't fuck with my business at its core, right? And so with Japanese people, if you do know, they are pretty careful about rolling tech out, and so we want to we're just going to be really smart about it and push the envelope as far as we can, but it doesn't necessarily move as fast as like for instance like basically just launching a Web3 token, right?
So as far as that mindshare piece goes, so we've now done 3 TGE projects in virtuals with we've provided the leaderboard, and we actually kind of just fell into it because we built a leaderboard for our initial Genesis launch, but would be happy to discuss that and share some info about what to do with all of that. And yeah, I know you guys your launch is coming up pretty tight now, but also we're rolling it out for some post TGE projects as well. And it's just phenomenal. Like this kind of attention hacking thing, really. There's so much heat around it in the timeline right now. And I think we're just going to see things getting better and better as far as like the quality of the posting and all of that as we kind of use the AI to filter out the kind of low effort and the AI slop stuff.
Yeah. But AI being able to understand natural language and actual context is such a powerful thing, right? Yeah, one of the kind of like maybe fun milestones that we will have is that I'm sure people want to play with the agent, but we don't want to have the agent just like openly available just because it's expensive to run AI if you aren't getting paid for it. And so yeah, we will put one up that's like virtuals token gated, just a little bit after TGE. We're just kind of like doing the development on that just because we didn't think about that piece until kind of like more recently. But then you guys will just be able to talk to it, talk shit to it, and see what it does. And then you can see like the level of agency that it does have. And so yeah, there's a bunch of other stuff that we can put out there just because we really already have have the technology developed. It's just that the Web3 integration piece of it is the final piece.
So cool. Guys, we're getting towards the end, so if you have any other questions, just make sure you fire them off in the chat here. Gravity with another, he's got great questions. You doing any thoughts about about robots?
Yo, barista robots super interesting, right? Like, so I don't know about in Japan, like, but like, I was recently in Taiwan and they have AI, but they basically have robots that are doing like have replicated the best barista pour over styles, like this, like whatever, like this kind of weird uh, pseudo replica aspect of it. But the whole ability to do that is, coffee is just basically chemistry when you're making it. So we don't have anything against it. And that's the whole like kind of self-fulfillment thing for food and beverages definitely here coming in the making. I think that to be a business person, I don't know how big that addressable market is for us here in Japan. And kind of like more, I think what's interesting is brand building wise, we're going to be kind of the coffee stuff that we'll be doing is more the Japanese artisans, the hand, the handmade aspects of everything that's being done here, and that's why it's limited edition. I think the kind of broader, kind of more robot experiences is just brand wise need to think more about it. I think it would be interesting for some types of activations, but I don't know if it's just going to be kind of a main aspect of what we would be doing. But the AI pour over coffee machines are pretty hilarious. That's really just like looks like random ass shit.
It's literally like a robot that's pouring the coffee and like the cream and whatnot. Is that what that is?
Well, so pour over, if you know, like it's like there's like so many like different things about how people like to do it. It's just like, oh, like obviously like the grinds and like when you pour like on your filter, the quality of the water. But then the ridiculous thing that you could get really wild about is then what's the temperature of your water? How much do you pour first? Do you watch it let it bubble up first before you change the temperature of it? There's like a popular technique now where like you do like 2/3 of the water like at the 99 degrees, let it sit, and then you let it run through, and then you do a cold pour over it. That's one piece, and then the AI thing part is that actually like baristas have their like pseudoscience on how they pour it, where they make sure the grinds are soaked in a way that pulls out the flavor they like most. So that's what that is.
Dude, it's so technical. It's like way more than way more than I would have thought. It's awesome.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's therapeutic. It's like on some level, like when you see people do it, it's like them doing like a bonsai tree, where they're just like
Mhm.
trimming the thing. It's just like
Yeah.
makes them feel better, but then you're making it for somebody else so they can consume it. So that's why as a product, it's quite interesting.
It's cool. It's like it's kind of like art too. Dude, I just lost my layout. Hang on. There we go. There we go. All right. Any final juicy bits of info, anything that you think we didn't cover that you want to make sure that the community knows before this launch here? And do you have any other show appearances, spaces coming up before your launch here in a couple days?
Yeah, I think we got like maybe two more. DeepBrew on the call. Probably Emma probably, well, not Emma. Emma definitely knows, so she can maybe like speak up about what those are. And like we haven't finished the prototype for it, but like if one of these if we're ready for one of these AMAs later, I'm gonna try to bring the agent on the call,
Ooh.
so you can talk and basically like 'cause it's basically a test run for what you would be able to do through the token gated version of it. So you'd be like really kind of try to punch holes on it. So
Oh, wow.
it'll know what I know. It can describe what we do, all that kind of shit, and then talk about beans until it runs out of power. So yes, yeah. So so that should happen before TGE too.
There we go. There we go. Okay, I think I knew there's a Spaces Friday. I think Nick is going to be there. You guys know Nick. I think I might be on that as well. And then any other spaces coming up, I'm going to keep my eyes out. I just want to share that, make sure I'm supporting you guys. But good. Keeping in front of people leading up. I think it's going to do. I always say this as a builder, kind of. Like the FDV market cap is not a focus, right? If you build a thing, that stuff comes with it. But for what it's worth, I think this is going to do well because I think, again, new meta, new season, real products, people that are building, that's who people want to support now. So I'm watching, I'm rooting for you guys. Can't wait. Adam, anything final from you?
So, yeah, I mean, this has been great. I love your project, and yeah, it's just amazing to go through it all like that. So yeah, I'll be supporting you, and yeah, best of luck with the bonding. I'm sure it's going to be great.
Oh, we got a Tokyo Ghoul fan on. Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
I'm like, what the hell is he saying? What is this, Dad?
It's Tokyo Ghoul is like a famous anime, and like they're these like kind of like assassins, but they're ghouls and they can kill people. But like in daytime or like basically when they look like regular humans, they run a very like Showa era type of coffee shop. It's like it's very cool.
Oh, wow.
But that's their base. Um, yeah. So like that's like from a lore building and kind of world building more from like from a story standpoint. That's definitely stuff we want to lean more into, right? Because even from the like sub brands of coffee stuff that we'd want to do, that's the kind of the world we come from. I guess my final piece for everybody to understand is like, it's definitely different than other virtuals or other kind of projects you would see in the space. I think from just, I wouldn't say tokenomics, but just like the microeconomics of it all are, there's obviously the initial launch and everything that goes along with it. But once we do kind of the actual integration for coffee pension, the amount of actual fiat that kind of flow into our token is going to be wild, right? It's not even about how much profit we're making because people are just using this as a savings account. And like, if you know how Japanese people really like just do how they think about this type of stuff, which is why they were in Mount Gox back in 2012, is that they're like, oh, this is how I can be more like a safe with my money, which is like a terrible idea. It didn't work out for them. But in our case, like it totally makes sense because it's like a day-to-day commodity thing that they're already spending money on, and we feel pretty confident that we can convince them to do that. Let alone all kind of like the more Web3 degen things that we do want to build out with it, because then it's the best of both worlds. And so that's why I think our project is special, because it has that extra element.
Man, great stuff. Great stuff. Dad, I hope you liked that. That was actually fun to listen to, by the way. Guys, make sure you follow DeepBrew Coffee over on X. Again, launch is coming up in 2.5 days. Get your points ready. Again, for me, I'm probably going to go pretty hard with those points. Just different. Hang on. Did I share it? Hang on. Let me share the right screen. There we go. There's DeepBrew Coffee. Again, follow them. They got those spaces coming up here throughout the week, it sounds like, ahead of that launch. Also go follow Adam. Why is your account? Oh, you know what? Earlier, he's gone. He's back. Okay.
We still need to know where his internet is. Like, why is the internet so?
Oh, you know what? That one was me. That one was on me. Hang on.
Oh, okay.
I fucked that up. Hang on. My layouts are all. Adam, where are you?
All good.
There it is. I got it.
Hey.
Jeez, I'm a rookie here. Welcome. I'm sorry about that, dude. That was all on me.
Okay.
Guys, follow Adam as well over here. Your account was restricted when I was looking earlier. What the hell, man? What happened?
My account was restricted.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Earlier today.
To
Yeah. Oh, I was testing something. Yeah. Oh, that is an occupational hazard. So some of the stuff with the CRM, right? So like we kind of push the automation to the limits from time to time on X, but I can get around it. So, oh damn, I need to keep that in check. Like, yeah, I know what the rules are. I know actually what the rules are, but I just sometimes test the outer limits of what's possible. And,
there you go.
Okay, yeah.
This is what pioneers do. MJ's going all in with his points, all 5 of them. Good luck, sir.
Hopefully he meant all 5 wallets, but yeah.
Yes, I hope that's what he meant. And then, guys, finally, you can follow us at the swarm_AI. We keep getting these builders on the show, and I'm trying to just get the best builders on, and that's what you got here today. And it's really important you learn who is building and what they're building. Some of this stuff is just going to be, cornerstones in this virtuals ecosystem, but beyond too. So you got to catch these shows again on the swarm_AI. But catch the replays over on YouTube. If you can't catch them live, you can find that at CryptoSlam over on YouTube. Guys, total treat having both of you, all 3 of you on, I should say. Love your project, love what you're cooking up. Again, I'll be following very closely, and come back anytime you have updates, anything you want to share. Just come in, pop in for a few if you want, come for a whole show, whatever. But open door always for you guys. So appreciate you both a ton.
Yeah, let me know if you ever want. Hit me up anytime for like anime, AI type of stuff, Japan stuff. Like I'm definitely, at least hopefully, have a colorful alternate perspective on the stuff.
Dude, I love it. Yeah, we'll definitely be doing that. Guys, we'll see you back here tomorrow, same time, 9 a.m. Eastern, right here on the CryptoSlam account. Guys, have a great day. We will see you later. Goodbye.
Thanks, guys. Catch you later.
Hell yeah. Peace.
Cheers.